Hey everybody, I know it's late. This is Toby Younis with a Gypsy Kiss. Stick with me a couple of seconds and I'm going to share kind of an unusual moment that occurred this evening for me and for the folks in our member vault. But first, of course, there is always...
Housekeeping, you want towel?
Of course, you want towels. How could we have it any other way? Share this video with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your business associates. Wait, that's not the right one. Make sure that before you leave tonight, you like this video. YouTube likes it when you like the video. When you like our videos, and the Magical Treasure Princess really likes it when you like our videos. Share with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your business associates, the entirety of your social networks so that we can grow the channel. And last but not least, if you're not already a subscriber, please take a moment to subscribe. And when you see the notifications bell, ring the notifications bell. And that way, when we schedule a live stream or we launch a live stream, you'll be immediately informed in the know. Remember, the National Security Agency. You know what? I didn't open up the live dashboard, so I got to be able to see some chat here. So just give me 1 second, because you're probably asking yourself right now, what the heck is this guy doing up at this hour? Well, first of all, this hour is not unusual for me. I tend to be a late night person anyway, usually working. Right now, I'm taking a course in geology, so that's keeping me up at night. Hang on, let me see so I can see the chat in case anybody does come in at the hour. Hey, Davio, Captain Marvel, because I can. Hey, so here's what I just had to do this video to kind of document it, to make sure that this moment was recorded, because a really funny thing happened on the way to the forum tonight. Okay, so as you may or may not know, I'll play the promo towards the end. As you may or may not know, we have a members vault group, and we get together on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have conversations. Right now, we're going through the thrill of the chase. We are in what we call, we're reviewing, we review tonight, what we refer to as Chapter 17E, which is My War for Me. My War for Me is actually subdivided into several very identifiable subchapters, although none of them are labeled that way. This is Chapter 17E, My War for Me, Part 5 of 7, pages 91 through 96. And the way that we do this is Shelley has written kind of a textbook that goes along with this, with the pertinent paragraphs in each of the segments, and then her commentary based on her understanding of personalities and behavioral traits, etc. So we were going through this, and this is not the first time I've done this. I mean, we've done this a couple of times before on our own independent YouTube channels. We've rehearsed it a couple of times. I mean, so this is not, and I've read the book several times. But something struck me tonight, and I thought I wanted to share that with you. So, and let me see if I can go to the place here. Okay, so I've got to read a couple of things first. So this is from the Thrill of the Chase, page 91, paragraph 2. When we landed at my home base in Twiwa, I told my boss that I didn't want to be shot down on my last mission and begged for one more. Every pilot's dread is to be shot down on his first mission or his last. And when the latter happens, it's a terrible bust on the morale of those remaining. A 4-star general in Saigon gave his blessing, saying, but keep him in South Vietnam, meaning don't put him over Laos or North Vietnam where he's going to get shot at. So then I'm not going to read Shelley's commentary because although it's very wise, it's not pertinent in this case. And then we jump to page 91, paragraph 3. After that mission, it was time to pay my debt to the waterfall and the magic clearing to which I felt obliged. After some strong begging, an Army helicopter flying friend agreed to take me. It was about an hour's flight to where the little stream drops so mistfully onto the rocks below. Page 91, paragraph 4. When we landed, the geography looked much different from what I expected, and from what I had seen a mile up, the small clearing was now about 300 feet across, and belly-high grass made walking difficult. It was impersonal and disappointing. I was embarrassed, and I felt foolish for making such a big deal out of something that is now so whimsical. So So now I've got to tell you a story. For those of you, and I've got to switch over to the map. So let me do a screenshot here. Screenshot right there. So this is a map of what is now Vietnam, and it's the Vietnam that, of course, used to be South Vietnam and North Vietnam. And if I look at this map, the demarcation point, the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, was right above Kon Tum, right here, just below Vietnam. So just imagine that for a second. Above that was North Vietnam. Below that was South Vietnam. Well, the unit that I belonged to in Vietnam, the 509th Radio Research Group, had companies distributed throughout Vietnam. The one at Pleiku was 626. I was at Can Tho with the 323rd, 323, but I was assigned to this location down here called Kamau, and then sub-assigned to two fire bases right down here at the tip of the delta. Actually, it was on this side of the inlet, called Firebase Eagle and Firebase Alpha. So I was nowhere near Tuy Hoa, which is this area right here. That's where Forrest was stationed, at Tuy Hoa. And I used to say Tuy Hoa was about 3/4 up the coast of the country. And for South Vietnam, that would have been true. So because the 509th Radio Research Group consisted of Army Security Agency personnel, we knew each other from going through school in stateside, because we spent months in school, starting with what was referred to as Rapid Rabbit. Then we went to our MOS training. Then some of us went to jump school. Some of us went to Ranger School. Then language school at Monterey, California. Then target area orientation training in Petaluma, California. And eventually, some of us ended up in Vietnam, but we stayed in touch with each other. And so I had a friend at Pleiku on 626. And his name, I don't remember his first name, and I'm sorry for that, but his name was Danovich, and we called him Dano. His nickname was Dano. And my nickname, by the way, was Tuna. Go figure. So anyway, when you were in Vietnam, you got R&Rs. Every 6 months, you got an out-of-country R&R. That's how I ended up going to Sydney and Taiwan. And where else did I go? Hong Kong and Amsterdam and a couple of other places. But when you were in country, you got an in-country R&R every 3 months if you took it. And you would go here to Nha Trang. And Nha Trang was as you can see, it's on the coast, beautiful beaches, beautiful city, beautiful women, etc. It was a great place to go on an R&R. And so Dano, and I planned to take an R&R in Nha Trang at the same time. Well, we were in Nha Trang, and we were partying. We had 7 days to do nothing but party, sleep late, go on the beach, get drunk that night, party again. But one of the things that he wanted to do is he had heard about a waterfall that was kind of fun to be at. And of course, so Fenn was there in 68 and 69. I was there in 70, 71, and 72. So this was a couple of years after he was there. And the war was winding down. We had pushed them back to the lines right there in Laos and Cambodia. And we were feeling pretty comfy with ourselves, thinking, oh, this is going to go okay. Of course, we all know it didn't. Anyway, Danovich and I was trying to read the chat room, and I'll come back to the chat room. I promise. I can't do it at the same time. It's distracting. So Danovich and I decided to meet at Nha Trang. And when we were there, we were partying, and I had a Vietnamese, we called them chopper jocks, a Vietnamese pilot friend who was also there on R&R, and he had flown him and his crew up there in his helicopter, Huey. And so I found him, and I asked him if he could take us to this set of waterfalls that everybody knew about. And it didn't have a name at the time. It does now. And so he said he would, if it was in a safe area, would take us, et cetera, et cetera. So here's what happened tonight. So first of all, I hadn't remembered any of that until we were talking about Tuy Hoa and the waterfalls, and I started thinking about Danovich and our waterfall trip, et cetera, et cetera. So it all came together tonight in our member vault meeting. And so I didn't want to take a lot of time in the member vault, but while they were talking, I pulled up this map and started putting kind of things together and started looking for the waterfalls. And while I was doing that, one of our member vault members sent me a link of the top 15 waterfalls in Vietnam. And so first, I had to figure out, could this have been the same waterfall that Fenn had seen? Well, I'm going to take you to Tuy Hoa right now. And you'll see down here on the southern part is the old American Air Base. And you can see it had runways that were running from southwest to northeast and vice versa. He always said that the South China Sea was on his right side when he took off. So he took off from here, flew over the South China Sea with it at its right. Then he would have to make a turn back in to head for either Laos or Cambodia, where he was, or, oops, I shouldn't have done that. Can I take that out? Didn't mean to do that. Let me see if I can get rid of that. I can't. Oh, wait, I can't. So remove this destination because we don't want to be in the South China Sea. All right, so there's Tuy Hoa, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit further and down the coast to, can I do this without, to Nha Trang. So let me see if I can get them both in the image. Okay, so there's Nha Trang. And so what Forrest would have done is he would have flown northeast over the South China Sea to his right. He would turn back this way and crossed in this direction and headed for Laos for his bombing runs, or along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, which further south comes into Vietnam. So I started thinking, could it be that we shared the waterfall experience? And so, as I said, Lisa sent me this reference that had the 15 most photogenic waterfalls in Vietnam. And let me see if I can bring it up now. How did I get there before? So I know the name of it now, and it's called the Bajo Waterfalls. Now, in Vietnamese, not every word, but most of the words can have 5 different meanings based on the tone that you use with them. For example, the letters ma can mean goat, ghost, salt, mother, or dead, depending on which accent it has on it. The ba, which is one of the words that you can use, can be a what do they call it? Title. So ba is Mrs. So if I wanted to be polite to my ex-wife, I would say ba ha nyo puk, and she would respond to that. A single woman is a ko. So this place is called Bajo Waterfalls Cliff now. And it wasn't that. It didn't have a name. Another way to interpret Bajo is, if you translate that literally, it becomes creature. Now, the Vietnamese are a very superstitious people. So when they see things that are kind of evil, they call them creatures or serpents or devils. They give them names. And I was wondering why they would call this the creature or the serpent waterfalls. And you'll see in just a moment. So I'm going to take you to Bajo Waterfalls. And let's see, how do I get there from here? There we go. So we're going to go down there. Now, one of the things that was interesting to me is that the driving distance is 1 hour and 58 minutes. The flying distance is about 20 minutes to a half hour. So either way, if he was coming back this direction, it could have been the same set of waterfalls. Now, I am not trying to say that this is exactly the same set of waterfalls. I'm just saying it has a lot in common with the manner in which he describes it, and which is now apparently a very popular tourist resort. But that was Bajo. Those are Bajo Waterfalls. I've been there. I have jumped off that rock right there. There's a higher jump spot here, and there's one even higher. Let me see if I can find it, because Danovich, who was far more adventurous than I was, jumped off the top. Oh, I know what there was. There's some 360 views. Okay. So that's the 200-foot jump right up there. So you can jump from there, and you have to kind of jump out and into the waterfalls. Let me see if I can get a better one. But the reason it was referred to as the creature or the serpent was the way it wound down the rocks. And you could stand up at the 200-foot level and look down into it. And this was before it had a name or before it had a tourist attraction. It's now a full-blown tourist attraction. As a matter of fact, if you look at the map and you scroll in, it's a resort now. The Bajo Echo or Echo Resort. So it's a full-blown resort, and there's the cliff jumping. You can't see that. Looks like a lake. It's not. That's a valley. But it's really amazing because I was there. Danovich and I went there. Our friend, a Daiwi captain and a chopper jock took us there, and we were there for an afternoon. Me and Danovich and a couple of other guys and a couple of his guys. And I just thought, could it be that Forrest Fenn and I were at the same exact location in Vietnam? Now, I know he was at Binh Tui, and Binh Tui was an air base right outside of Can Tho, which was the biggest city in the Delta, and which is where my company, 323, was at. It was at Can Tho, South Vietnam. But I was there. I was assigned to an Arvin Ranger unit, and I was further south. But I have a feeling if you just look at this and imagine Forrest standing up there on the side of that, that there's a location where you could just literally look down from the cliff face down into the water. Is there any chance he could have been there? So that was just a moment that came tonight in our member vault and brought back that memory of Danovich and I having gone there. This is what the area looks like. That's more of a kind of a that's got to be a drone shot. Yeah. So very mountainous, headed out towards the sea, and you're not far from the sea. It didn't take us very long to get there in comparison to what it took him because it was close to Nha Trang. So what do you know about that? All right, I'm going to go back to the full screen, and I just wanted to share that with you because I think you have to ask yourself, could it be, let me go back to the pictures, could it be that Fenn's special place includes a waterfall falling through the rocks that reminded him of that moment in Vietnam. And it looks like that. So, voila, my thoughts on the matter. And I thought I'd share it with you. I know it's easier to do this stuff live stream than to record it, edit it, and put it up there. I imagine that let me go through the questions. I'll try to answer all the questions before I hang up here. Let's see. Hi, Captain Marvel. Hi, because I can. Hi, Davio. Hi, JK Pioneer. Hi, Craig Esquire. Let's see. Hi, GoPro Flat Earth UK Darb. Tom K. World Famous Gamer. This isn't late for me. It's only 10 before midnight. If I get to bed before 2 o'clock, usually that's about my that's about the time I usually get to bed. And I'm okay with that. Let's see, Davio. I don't see any questions. Okay. If you do have any questions, make sure you precede them with an @ Gypsy's Kiss, so that I can see it, but I don't see it. So the grassy fields are up above on the plateau. That's what I was trying to say before. You can see, some of it here, but this is all overgrowth. You got to remember, nothing stops growing in Vietnam, and this is what? So he was there in 68. I was there in, I don't remember, it's either 71 or 72. 70? No, it was too late in 70. So it was probably 71. So that was 81, 91, 2001, 2011. We're coming up on 50 years worth of growth and stuff there. So if there was, thigh-high grass, elephant grass, it's not there anymore. It's covered. But there is a plateau above here. And there was, I remember Danovich jumping off a cliff kind of thing. So that's what it looks like today. And like I said, it's a tourist resort now, full-blown tourist resort. So if there are any of what he suggests there are, it is higher up this ridge someplace up in there. If it was, and if this is the right place. I don't know that this is the right place. It's just too much of a coincidence because it is very likely that he flew over this. He was kind of disappointed when he got there because, it wasn't a small waterfall. This is a pretty good size. Well, you can see by the size of the humans there, that's a pretty good sized waterfall. And if you were to try to get back there now, and it had no name, it had no traffic. It wasn't a tourist resort back then. Okay. It is likely, the question is whether or not it could have been a French battle. So Nha Trang was a headquarters for the French in the late 40s and early 50s before they were run out. And it could very well have been a battle spot because it wasn't far from Nha Trang. They would have been trying to protect Nha Trang from, they weren't called the Vietnamese communists back then. They were called the Viet Lao. So they called them... no, Capro, this is not the guy. So I'm going to show Capro one more time. This is, and I can only say it this way. So this is the waterfall that's north and it was south of that by some. There's Cameron Bay